excited for the bounce back, honestly. I was wondering what tonight was going to look like, and I was really impressed and proud of our fight. We had traffic again the first couple of innings, and I was like, oh dear Jesus, is this, we're going to have the kind of the same feel, and they did a great job, and obviously Coco was, just dynamic again. It's kind of the word that I always use for her when she has these types of games. And then I think the other piece of this was, and that's what I talked to the team after the game, is Julia doesn't have that opportunity if those people in front of her don't work and get on base. Honestly, Trin's at bat was really, really the impressive piece of that whole kind of that inning. And so, Trin, got called, I thought, on a tough call, and she didn't let it affect her, and she eventually worked another walk and gave Julia that opportunity. But we put a bunt down today. That was exciting. So just a lot of good things. Played pretty much clean defense. We had the one hiccup, but overall, I was pleased with our turnaround.
You talked about control before, Sarah Joy. You still need a clutch hit, because even though Kennedy gets a good at bat,
Yeah.
if jump up, it's too early. Because you've had opportunities. So once again, you talk about Michelle being the one to get.
Yeah, she's a big time player, and her and I talked before that at bat, because she too, as well, gets a little antsy, to be honest with you, and just they want it so much, and they don't know how to kind of funnel that energy into relaxed, calm, and confidence. And that's really what she has been working on. And so I just reminded her, I had a little friendly reminder of hey, get your breath under you, get a good pitch, shrink the zone. Just, nothing, crazy, but it's just talking to her in a calm voice. You have to slow everything down. But she did, she had a good at-bat, the at-bat before. She got a little antsy. She was out on her front side, but she still put good barrel on it. So Jules tends to rise when we need her, and she's a big-time player, and that's what big-time players do.
So what about the slow start? Because, Woolley does throw the ball away for two bases. The ball falls, it should be caught. Is that a little bit of pressure, a holdover, or, what do you
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, our pitchers, had traffic, and sometimes traffic that we didn't necessarily earn. And I thought they did a really good job of making those pitches and giving us some weak contact when we need it. And hey, that's part of the game. And I think there's such a huge learning moment there. I feel like A&M of last year would have folded and it would have gone a different direction. And A&M this year, I'm not saying we're perfect, but I feel like we buckled down and came out and control the things that we can control. That's something that we work on day in and day out, about our presence. And just at the end of the day, once I release the ball, I have no control. I have no control if the umpire calls it a ball or strike. I have no control of my defense. So I have to really be locked in this pitch and give it everything I have. And that's why this game is so exhausting, honestly, is because if you truly do that, that's why coaches are so tired and we look like hell after games. But if you truly lock into that pitch by pitch, you should be mentally exhausted.
What did you see from Shaylee Ackerman's start tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, it was a little shaky, and that's what I was talking to her about. She did a really good job. Here's the thing, and it's hard sometimes for them to understand this, and the land of filters, remember we've talked about that before, that everything's perfect, is you're never going to feel, there's a 1% time they're going to go out there and feel man, my ish is good tonight, I'm lights out, right? But most of the time you're going to work in that kind of yellow zone, right? You have green, yellow, red is what we kind of refer to. And she was definitely in the yellow, and she was probably more yellow-red tonight, and I thought she did a really nice job of transitioning down into a solid yellow and just continuing to work. And I said, Shaylee, at the end of the day, don't go out there and nitpick. You are better than them, so go out there, take the ball, and throw your pitch, and have that confidence. And so, I have to remind myself sometimes that they want it so bad, but I have to teach them that path of how to take that want of wanting it so bad, but also how to go out there and be the best version of themselves.
I know you spoke about being excited for the bounce back in the opening statement, but what were the last couple of days like leading into this performance?
Yeah, well, Monday is their off day from practice, so I spent quite a bit of time in in the office, you know. I usually tend to, I think it's always good for me to reflect, right? Like, what can I do better as their coach? What can I do better as their pitching coach, their head coach? Coach Harger and I spend quite a bit of time together, you know, going over that. We switched up the lineup a little bit again tonight. We challenged them. Yesterday's practice was really, really hard. And again, not from a physical standpoint, and we kind of talked to them, like, you have to love the hard. Like, the hard is what gets you the good stuff. And so if practice isn't hard, then games are hard, right? And you want games to be easy. So I'm like, you guys should be excited. If I can hit this drop ball that this machine is throwing at me and I have no information coming from the body, right, because it's a box, right? If I can hit this drop ball, I can hit any drop ball that's thrown to me. But you have to love that failure piece, and you have to love that work. And that was kind of our message to them yesterday, is like, listen, you can sit here and pout, and I was a little fired up in my press conference yesterday, but kind of that same thing of like, we can pout, we can say like, this is hard, I can't do this, or I can say, I'm gonna battle my tail off, and I'm gonna figure this out, and when I figure this out, there's nobody that can beat me. And I think we did a much better job tonight. We started off, like I said, a little shaky, and then it was like, gosh darn it, like, we're gonna figure this out, and Jules, you know, came through for us.
And looking ahead, you had 3 players have 9 of your 11 hits, so how do you take that on the road and get hitting contagious for Ole Miss?
Have them rub elbows.
Okay, that's a good idea. That'll work.
Do a little, some garlic, I don't know. You know, I think, you know, it's just continuing to put them in situations that I think is going to be very game-like, and continue to practice like that. I thought Morgan Smith had a really good weekend. Maybe I'm speaking that into existence. We'll follow up on Tuesday. But Morgan Smith did a great job. She had a good hit. She put down a bunt. She had 2 good hits, actually. And so I feel like, you know, just continuing, hitting is contagious, just like us this past weekend I felt was contagious. And so you get a couple of them rolling, and then you get a couple more rolling. So now all of a sudden we have 5 kids rolling on Friday. Maybe we get 6 on Saturday. And so we've talked about this. We're a very close-knit team, and so I told them we don't have to be that close, that we all suck together. So I said, let's all be really good together. So we still haven't put together, honestly, a really, really strong hitting performance and a really, really strong pitching performance in a game. So maybe this weekend.
And what did you say to the team? Obviously, you talked about the bounce back and then get the win tonight, run rule victory, and then head to Ole Miss. What was your message to them heading into this next series?
I told them, I said I was proud of them, honestly. I said, that's my team. Like, that's Aggie softball. And I'm a pretty short person after games, because I feel like they've used all their attention span. So, but I congratulate those kids that really did a good job, and we're gonna practice tomorrow. So, we're gonna practice double day tomorrow. So we'll practice before we leave and practice when we get there. So, you know, I love the grind, and that's what I kind of talked to them about. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday in practice. Like, when I am not doing well as a coach, and I was the same way as a player, like, I kind of dive more into it, because it's like, I have so much confidence. If I'm not betting on me, if they're not betting on them, then who is? And so, like, let's get better. Like, let's keep working, because you never know what's on the other side. Like, you could be so close to that pot of gold, but if you give up, then you'll never reach it. And that's, again, you know, they always tease me that I go into these momisms, but like, that's another, you know, like, I want that for my daughter, my son, but like, I want that for them. Like, at the end of the day, when you're an old person and you're 50 years old and you're looking back, like, I gave everything I had in my tank, and I'm proud of what I did. Like, we can be proud when it's all done. So.
And Coco Woolley, she goes 4 for 4 today with an RBI, 2 runs scored. Her left hand, she's obviously wearing something on her left hand, but she goes 4 for 4 today.
Yeah.
What's going on with Coco? Like, she
It's
should
a
always
secret potion that apparently, yeah. We told her we're gonna brace all of her fingers, yeah. So, she's battling a little bit of an injury, but obviously she can go, and you know, she's tough. Like, I love that kid, honestly, and she's my kind of kid. And even this weekend, I'll tell a fun story about Coco that I'm gonna embarrass her. You know, we had a conversation with her at the beginning of the year, or maybe the middle, it doesn't really matter, earlier this year, about her being a leadoff, and she was just like, and she was a leadoff, and she doesn't really love it, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, sometimes I don't love what comes out of their mouth, but I want honesty, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh gosh, I wish I'm not hearing this, but But what I really love is she sent Coach Harger a text message this weekend and said, Coach Harger, put me in the lineup. I'm loving my experience here with you guys. I am going to grow up. I'm going to figure this out. Like, put me in that spot. And I just got chills again. Like, that's why I coach. Because she's going to hopefully take that into life. Like, she thought it was really hard. I made her our lead off. She was like, didn't really love it. And she could have gone, again, one of two ways. Like, put me lower in the lineup. It's kind of in her head easier. And she, like, made herself rise to that and said, like, no. And she still didn't do great on Sunday. Like, okay, but I'm like, I'm sticking with you because if your money is on you, like, my money is for sure on you.
All for me.
Yeah, I'm just curious who your favorite Aggie alumni is, softball player.
Obviously.
Just kidding. I don't have anything to add.
Yes.